11 June and our lecture number 25 and 26 we will combine today to boost of the syllabus. So this is we are studying about the pollution, environmental pollution, and we today on the verge of completion of your unit number 4. And unit number 4 outcome of 4L, 4M, and 4N. Subsequently, we are seeing on the municipal waste, municipal solid waste, biomedical uh, solid waste, and also e-wastages that are coming in the solid wastages. So outcome of the today's course is apply techniques to reduce the environmental pollution, and uh, agenda of today's uh, or content of today's lecture is biomedical waste, generation of biomedical waste. This is the part or section 1 or lecture number 25. 26 we will after this subsequently I am attached that lecture. Already in yesterday class we have seen the municipal solid waste and their processes. Also today we will see the biomedical solid waste and e-waste. Uh, so what is the learning objective is the state the characteristics of the solid waste, state the impact of solid waste, describe incineration, RDF, and sanitary landfilling. All these things yesterday also we have seen for the uh, process of the solid waste due to the municipal solid waste we are collecting. Generally, solid waste of two type municipal solid waste, biomedical solid waste, and e-waste. So this biomedical waste BMW, the waste which is generated from healthcare facilities during the diagnosis and the treatment is called as biomedical waste. तो बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट किसको बोलते हैं कि जो हम हॉस्पिटल्स में हमारी सेहत के लिए जो दवाइयाँ या मेडिसिन या एक्सेसरीज ट्रीटमेंट के लिए हम लोग जो भी बायोमेडिकल मटेरियल इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट है। चाहे वो दवाइयाँ हो, चाहे वो सलाइन जिसको आप बोलते हो वो हो, चाहे वो आपके हैंड ग्लोव्स और अदर एक्सेसरीज वी आर यूजिंग, इंजेक्शन के लिए बॉटल्स वी आर यूज करते हैं, ऑल दीज आर कमिंग इनटू द बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट. The sources of biomedical waste are generally the biomedical waste are generated from the hospitals in large quantity, clinics, whatever you are running, pathological labs, यहाँ पर ब्लड टेस्ट, यूरिन टेस्ट और दूसरे टेस्ट होते हैं, ब्लड बैंक्स जहाँ ब्लड स्टोरेज होते हैं दैट इज ब्लड बैंक्स, नर्सिंग होम जहाँ पर बच्चों की डिलीवरी होती है, और मॉर्चरीज जैसे कि कब्रिस्तान, funeral service, also the dental clinics, animal research centers, etc. So these all are nothing but the sources of biomedical waste. The subtopic is biomedical waste, and they are having two types. It is as non-hazardous and hazardous. So if you see the biomedical waste is around 75 to 90% the waste is not hazardous. You can say that 75 to 90% wastage is not as hazardous. Hazardous yani dangerous to the health of the animals, plants, and uh, human beings. So that is called hazardous. So hazardous they are around 10 to 25% only, and infectious. In hazardous, there is also two types infectious, 15 to 18%, that is sops, non-sops, and liquid waste. Needles, sops, non-sops, and liquid waste, they are infectious. Other hazardous, that is 5 to 7%, that is radioactive waste, discarded glasses, chemical waste, and the ash. All these are the other hazardous substances. The generation of biomedical waste in India is around 1 to 2 kg per bed per day. तो पर बेड पर डे एक दिन में इंडिया में जो बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट जनरेट होता है एक बेड पर एक बेड पर 1 से 2 किलो एक दिन में जनरेट होता है एंड अबाउट 484 टन ऑफ बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट आर जनरेटेड पर डे इन इंडिया यानी 484 tons of the biomedical waste. 484 484 into 10 raised to 5 अगर आप बोलेंगे केजी में ओके 10 kg तो about 480 because 100 kg is equal to 1000 kg is equal to 1 ton so 10 raised to 3 kg you can बोले 484 into 10 raised to 3 kg so 484 ton of the biomedical waste are generated per day in India out of which 447 tons are treated जिसमें से 447 tons are treated and others are untreated left as it. So you can see in the percentage wise it is very good number that treated. So you can see it is around 37 only left ton, but still we can that is treat. We can treat that balance quantity also if there is proper management. Then the percentage of the composition of the biomedical waste. So you can say the textile materials, so you can say it is around biomaterials in 19.44%, plastic around 41%, 40.28%, liquids are around 13.34%, paper is around 11.6%, and the glasses around 6.16%. And sops, you can say the tools we are using for cutting and inserting, that is needles, etc. They are 1.73%, and others are around gloves, etc. You can say rubbers, etc. They are 3.45%. So these are the percentage of composition of biomedical waste in India. This is around generated. And what are the impact? इनसे क्या क्या इम्पेक्ट होता है बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट से क्या प्रॉब्लम होते हैं दैट इज डिस्कस्ड हियर the impact of biomedical waste on the public health is the nausea that is यानी जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि मतली आना वोमिटिंग दैट इज द उल्टी होना कहे करना ऑल्सो लो बर्थ वेट बच्चा जब पैदा होता है तो उस टाइम में उसका बर्थ वेट लो होना ये भी एक बीमारी में है एंड दैट इज ड्यू टू द सॉलिड वेस्टेजेस एयरबोर्न डिसीजेस हवा में जो डिसीज पैदा होती है इसका भी एक कारण है केमिकल पॉइजनिंग due to use of the biomedical waste न्यूरोलॉजिकल डिसीजेस दिमागी बीमारी जिसको बोलते हैं कंडिजियस डिसीजेस जिसको हम हार्ट और हमारे लंग्स की जो बीमारियाँ सांसों की जो बीमारियाँ वो बोलते हैं जहाँ पर हम सांस लेने में तकलीफ होती है उसको कंटेजियस डिसीज बोलते हैं कैंसर भी होने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हैं और इफेक्ट ऑन एनिमल्स के ऊपर भी इसका इफेक्ट होते हैं So this is nothing but the impact of biomedical wastages on the public health. Similarly, on environment, also the groundwater contamination, radioactive pollution, airborne pollution, air pollution, solid pollution, soil pollution, sorry. All these are contaminated due to this biomedical waste. There is not proper treatment or there will not be proper management. Okay, so that can be happen. So you should take care of that. And also, the biomedical waste the method of it can be managed, and it can be managed by secured landfilling. Yani, it should not be open to the yani exposed to the people or the animals, etc. Secured landfilling, landfilling में हम यूज कर सकते हैं secured, लेकिन incineration, that is burning of the biomedical waste. Shredding is also the another deep burial, दफन कर देना बहुत अंदर जाकर, deep autoclaving by process of verticalling you can sterilize, microwaving, that is also another treatment process, and chemical treatment. All this treatment you can do for the biomedical waste, and these are nothing but the methods of biomedical waste management. So these are different methods you can adopt for the management of the biomedical wastages. Medical waste management is 80% segregation, that is segregation yani divided, and the 20% technology. It is treated as follows with the specified directives of the CPCB norm, that is CPCB Central Pollution Control Board. Incineration, pathological waste and the body parts, no fluorinated plastic. These are burned, and then autoclaving all except body parts and pathological wastages that should be autoclaved. Microwaving all except pathological waste and the metals. Also, chemical processes mainly for the plastics. So these are the methods of biomedical waste management, and then anyone can be adopted as per the as per the type of the waste. ओके, इसी तरह यानी हम बायोमेडिकल मैनेजमेंट कोई भी लैंड फिलिंग अप कर सकते हैं, ज़मीन में दफन कर सकते हैं, उसको फैला कर उसका ट्रीटमेंट कर सकते हैं, इंसिनरेशन यानी जला कर सकते हैं, ऑटोक्लेविंग यानी हम वार्म वार्म स्टीम से हम कर सकते हैं, माइक्रोवेविंग, हॉट एयर वेव्स और माइक्रोवेव से हम उसका ट्रीटमेंट कर सकते हैं, और केमिकल ट्रीटमेंट। तो ये मेथड्स हैं दैट कैन बी अप्लाइड, और अलग अलग टाइप के पार्ट्स के लिए अलग मेथड आप मैनेजमेंट का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं एज पर द सुटेबिलिटी। Incineration is a process of complete combustion of the solid waste under controlled environment. Incineration is burning of the parts of the biomedical waste. Complete combustion यानी totally उसको जला देना under the control environment. Incinerators are designed to operate at a high temperature. Incinerators are designed to operate at high temperature. It reduces the volume of waste from 80 to 95%. After burning these waste, it reduces the 80 to 95%. It leads to energy recovery and complete destruction of toxic waste. इससे हम एनर्जी बना सकते हैं, आप इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं, या स्टीम से आप कोई मशीनरीज चला सकते हैं। दैट इज कैन बी डन, दैट एनर्जी रिकवरी के लिए हम यूज करते हैं। और इस ये प्रोसेस है इंसिनरेशन प्रोसेस, यानी बर्निंग से कंप्लीट टॉक्सिक वेस्ट को हम लोग डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकते हैं। द बाय प्रोडक्ट आर ऐश, हीट एंड द गैसेस। इसके बर्निंग से गैस निकलती है, हीट जनरेट होती है और ऐश निकलती है। तीनों को हम इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। हीट को एनर्जी सोर्स के लिए, गैसेस को भी एनर्जी सोर्स के लिए, अदर पर्पस के लिए, और ऐश को वी कैन यूज फॉर द filler material in the manufacturing of blocks, bricks, and or concrete, or heat can be used to generate the energy. So municipal refuse incinerators, this the flow diagram how the incinerator works. So this is, you can see the refuse pit, the wastages are, and then charging mechanism of the wastages, then they are lifting and transfer it to the combustion chamber where burning is done, and ashes are uh, taken from the bottom of this part and the gases are collected. Also the heat energy is uh, transferred, and that can be used for another purpose. So these are nothing but the municipal refuse incinerators where burning is taking place. Okay. Then the refuse dried fuel, that is RDF, uh, that is also the combustible fraction of municipal solid waste, is shredded into smaller, more uniform sized particle for burning. This is called as RDF. यानी कि हमारा जो वेस्ट है उसको हम छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स में कट कर सकते हैं, डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, उसको काट सकते हैं, शेड कर सकते हैं। करने के बाद आरडीएफ दस प्रोड्यूस में बी बर्न इन बॉयलर्स। ये जो आरडीएफ हमने बनाया है कटिंग से, दैट कैन बी यूज फॉर बर्न इन द बॉयलर ऑन साइट, और इट मे बी शिफ्ट टू द ऑफ साइट बॉयलर्स फॉर एनर्जी कन्वर्जेशन। उसको बनने से फिर एनर्जी हम लोग प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, देन कैन एनर्जी कैन बी यूटिलाइज बाय द फैक्ट्रीज। In our areas also you can see the bagages and many byproduct materials we are using for in the sizings for burning or for running of the boilers, and that boilers produce the steam, and the steam is used for the sizing purposes. If the RDF is used off-site, it is usually densified into pellets through the process of pelletization, and then pellets are transferred for the burning. The calorific value of RDF pellets can be around 4,000 kilocalorie per kg. It's too high. The RDF is used as a substitute of coal in the industry. जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि इसको हम एज ए एनर्जी सोर्स in replacement of the coal we can use that RDF. So refuse derived fuel, that is RPF. RDF is the refuse derived fuel, and how it is stored. The refuse, you are collecting all the wastages, biomedical waste, municipal waste, and e-waste, and then uh, the probably crushing is there. You can crush that, shred them, and then drawing is done. Increase the calorific value after the drawing, बर्निंग कैपेसिटी उसकी बढ़ जाती है। रिमूव फॉरेन मटेरियल, जो भी हार्मफुल और अदर मटेरियल्स यू कैन फ्रॉम द क्लासिफाइंग, यू कैन रिमूव इट। Then the secondary crushing is done, and again the crushing is done, reduce the volume, volume यहाँ पर कम हो जाता है। Again then improving storing and handling capabilities by pelletization, यहाँ पर pellets बनते हैं, and then the pellets are sent for the uh, uh, or that is RDF balers, and that is nothing but, you can see, this is nothing but the refuse derived fuel that can be used for the burning, and after the burning it reduces the heat and reduces ash and the gases. So this is nothing but all about the biomedical waste and their processes. The process may be common for the e-waste or the municipal solid waste also, so that can be used, and that can be uh, uh, converted or done converted into the refused rifles, that is RDF. Okay, so that's you can understand the process how the pellets are formed and RDF are right. Then the major issue nowadays because we are using the electronic devices at our homes, from cooking, from entertainment to the uh, uh, communication. All these devices we are using mobile phones. We are using washing machine for washing of clothes. We are using the fridges for storing the materials. We are using the electronic devices uh, for communication, telephone, mobile phones, and many other devices. We are using the computers, laptops for our routine work, and that can be generate e-waste after they are not usable. So e-waste, the waste from the electronic and electrical appliances, generally they are called as have reached their end of life period or called as the e-waste. They are called as the e-waste. Okay? And that examples are refrigerator, washing machine, TV, scanner, printer, computer, cables, or AC, etc. So large quantity of e-waste are generated, and also e-waste we cannot dump directly to the wastage side because they are having the harmful metals and semiconductors, etc. Also the mercuries that are very harmful for the human health as well as they can pollute the soil also. The sources of e-waste is household items we can use in shops, industries, electrical electronic repairing centers, institutions, laboratories, IT centers, computer institutes. These are generating the waste. These are the sources of waste. So we can this generation from these sources, and we can uh, uh, avoid this generation by using or by reducing the use of such items. The generation of EVs, according to the UN United Nations Global Monitor, India ranked fifth in the world in generation of e-waste. Indian generation of 1.81 billion tons of e-waste per year. That is very large, and the rate of e-waste generation increases 10% every year. तो अ, हमारे हर साल में 10% वेस्ट जनरेशन हमारे यहाँ पर बढ़ जाता है और दैट इज वेरी harmful for the disease. Then the composition of e-waste, you can see the large household appliances is around 42%, 42%, and IT communication technology around 34%. So these two, this green part and yellow part, you can see two are the large generation of e-wastages. And we can using the press for pressing of our clothes. We are using the refrigerator. We are using the TV, radio. We are using the computers, keyboard, mouse. All these printers and etc. These all are coming under the e-wastages. In the consumer electronics products, they are around 14%, and other uh, wastages are well. So these are the part we can say that the different wastages can be generated and what are their impact on the health of human being, on the public health. So the DNA damage, the DNA of the human body can be damaged to the liver, lung cancer, damage to the heart and lungs and spleen, kidney stone broken, lungs हमारे पूरा हो बोलते हैं heart वगैरह पूरी form बोलते हैं तो all these damages can be occur with the UV stage. Chronic damage to brain, पर भी असर हो सकता है। एस्थेमेटिक ब्रोंकाइटिस सांस लेने की जो तकलीफ है इनिशियल लेवल, एंड विजन फेल्यूर अल्सर, देख विजन फेल्यूर, अंधापन जिसको हम बोलेंगे, अल्सर, इट इज द ड्यू टू द digestive system problem, breathing difficulties are related with this asthma or bronchitis, and birth defects are also found due to the EVS status and hormonal changes in the human body or animal body generally. Observed damaged immune system of the human being. So these are the impacts of the e-waste on the public health. We can say on the environment is contaminant to the groundwater, pollution, acidification of soil and soil pollution, and also it is polluting the air. So these are the impact of the e-waste on the public health, on the environment. So this can be then the method of e-waste management, how we can do the management of e-waste. With the flow diagram you can see. First one is the collection of the e-waste from the source. The collection of the e-waste from the source, it may be distributed, it may be the household items, it may be from the factories, it may be from the industry, IT industry, etc. Then sorting of this waste, then the sorting is done, the processing of e-waste, repairing of e-waste, if we can able to repair it, recycling of e-waste, if possible, recycling, dismantling of e-waste, the break करना अलग अलग पार्ट में, then the component recovery of the e-waste, and the residual disposal of e-waste. All these are the methods of waste management. This is the flow diagram how you can manage the e-waste. So today we have seen about the solid waste management. In solid waste management, yesterday we have seen all about the municipal solid waste, and today we have seen about the biomedical solid waste, and also we have seen today about the e-waste, that is wastages from the electronic and electrical appliances. They are called as e-waste, e-waste management. Also we have seen how can the methods of management of the biomedical waste and e-waste we have seen today. So biomedical waste and its sources we have seen first, generation of biomedical waste, and composition of biomedical waste, and optimizations of biomedical waste. In the first part or section of the lecture number 25, we have seen all these things that is seen today. And in the second part of our lecture, lecture number 26, about the e-waste management or e-waste, we have seen e-waste and its sources, generation of e-waste, where it is generated, composition of e-waste from the household industries or light industries, and additive industries are the large, and also the home appliances we are using in our kitchen, they are also in large quantity, that is around 42%, we have seen just now, and also the methods of e-waste management. Yes. So these are the some references, reference books you can refer for your environmental studies. Thank you for joining today. Uh, Today is last date, and tomorrow you have to some show me your micro project online, or you have to send the photos of your micro project, and with your name and roll number should be written on it. Okay. If you have any doubt or any question, you may ask. Otherwise, we will just stop here. So today we have already completed the unit number 4 of your syllabus. Only one unit is remaining, and it is very short unit, unit number 5. Unit number 5 is all about the social issues and the environmental education, and only 4 lectures are required to complete this unit. So, if possible, we will complete in next week, or we can take an extra lecture so that your 100% syllabus will be I will complete it. So I will try to complete as early as possible. Already 85% of your syllabus is completed. Only 15 to 20% syllabus is remaining, and we will try to do that. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or otherwise we will stop here. So tomorrow is the last day to show me your micro project work. That is the collection of data from hospital, municipality, effluent treatment plant, visit to water treatment plant, preparation of report, any of the above you can do in your macro project. Already it is given in your syllabus, and many such reference learning websites are also given in your syllabus. I will share to you that is www.career.org, caring.org, cpcdnic.org, India Environmental Portal.org, what's it, techtarget.com, sustainable development, and conserve energy for future.com. So all this you can refer websites for your learning. So anyone is asking the question, we will stop here. Thank you for joining today.